I'm going to tell you about the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act of 1947, otherwise known as Ferpa. Who am I? My name's Chelsea McCutcheon. I'm from Levelland, Texas, and I'm a pre-K teacher. The objectives of this presentation are to inform parents or eligible students and school staff of the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act of 1947 and to explain ways FERPA can be violated and how violation can be prevented. A little background on FERPA. Senator Buckley proposed FERPA as an amendment to the General Education Provisions Act. It was established in 1947 and signed into law by President Ford. Since then, FERPA has been amended 9 times. FERPA didn't follow the typical lawmaking terms, so there's really no history on it. About FERPA. FERPA is a federal law that protects the privacy of students' education records. It applies to all schools that receive funds under an applicable program under the U.S. Department of Education. It distinguishes between 2 types of records, directory records and education records. Directory records are the type of records that can be released on the internet or on the newspaper, such as a student's name, their height, their weight. And education records are different. Those are the ones that have to be kept confidential. So the parents have rights under FERPA. Parents have the right to inspect and review their students' education records. So if you go to the school and ask for your child's records, they have to give it to you. Parents can request that schools change or correct records they believe to be inaccurate. If they don't change or correct the record, the parent is able to leave a note in the record stating what they think the correction should have been or the way they think the story went. Parents must consent to the disclosure of education records except for directory information. When a student turns 18, they are called eligible students under FERPA and the rights transfer to them. Just like parents and students, schools have rights and responsibilities under FERPA as well. If a school maintains records, they must keep the records secure. They must obtain written consent to release the information. Schools may release records to other schools. They can release records to people with legitimate educational interests in a child. Schools must notify parents of FERPA once a year. And if copies must be made of education records, schools can charge for the copies. Counselors don't fall under FERPA. They don't have to share information that they get from students with parents unless the student has made a threat towards themselves or someone else. So if you violate FERPA, what could happen? First, the parent or eligible student can file a complaint with the Department of Education. Next, the Family Policy Compliance Office will notify the school of noncompliance. Then time is allotted for correction. And finally, if the changes haven't been made, the Secretary of Education can pull the funds from the school. So let's try it out. The teacher says, "I've graded your tests from yesterday. The grades are posted on Blackboard." A student jumps up and says, "Johnny isn't here today, but he's my neighbor. How did he do?" Do you tell the student or do you not tell the student Johnny's grade? If you told the student Johnny's grade, you would be in violation of FERPA. If you didn't, you're a FERPA pro. A good rule of thumb with FERPA is, if in doubt, don't give it out.